Hi YouTube, I hope you're doing good. I am having a pretty good day. I feel much better than I have for about a week. So I haven't heard anything from my daughter-in-law if she's gonna be okay. She hasn't let me know, and I don't want to bother her. I already asked her if she'd let me know, so that should be good enough, but I don't know. It's hard to sometimes do things when you're not feeling well, that I know too. So if I hear anything, I'll let everybody know. But so far, no word. So, but yeah, on that note, I might get interrupted, or we might, um, and I'll deal with it as it comes. I'm expecting a phone call and maybe company. So, um, I don't know for sure, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm listening to a 14-minute video from Jason from Archaics. He's got he calls what we're in the program the simulacrum, and it's about escaping it, you know, um, some information that the new had left behind for people to understand how to navigate through this stuff that we're in. Speaking of stuff, I got a weird light. I'm sorry. Let me try and. That's a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah. I just kind of threw things together and um, getting on here. Well, cleaning it, I just deep cleaned it. So I think it's going to be okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've been bummed out. Freaking YouTube, they don't always give me my notices. And the first time I recognized that, I had went to like either edit a video or do something that was a pretty recent thing. And I saw somebody had left a comment on there that I hadn't even seen. So then I started checking my studio at least every other day, and I try to do that now too. But um, I don't always get notifications, and the weird thing is, it's Robin's Hood. Um, I hardly ever get what seems like, okay, if he puts out like a couple videos, I'll get them, but I won't get them right away. And yesterday he went live. I didn't even get notified at all. I mean, even that he was live, not, you know, some people will put that they're going to be. And I usually do see those things, but yesterday I didn't. And it was really weird. Um, I did watch it. I mean, after, it was like 2 hours later, but I was available. I could have popped in and said hi to everybody, so that bummed me out. But YouTube knows who we watch more frequently, and I feel like that was intentional. I can't prove it. How can you prove it? But, so jerks. But anyway, so I think I'm making biscuits and gravy for supper. I have this turkey sausage, breakfast sausage, and it's got so much spice in it. I took 2 pounds of ground pork and mixed that in with it. So I made like 3 pounds of sausage last night. I just cooked it in the oven and had some eggs and toast with it. But tonight I'm going to make gravy out of the sausage and biscuits to put it on. So I love that stuff. Some of you might know I had ran away very young, but one time I might have been in Alabama or Georgia or somewhere like that, or maybe even Florida. I'm not sure where this happened. I'm thinking it was in Georgia, but I was almost starving to death and I had like so little money. And this waitress, I asked for a cup of coffee and she said, "Are you hungry?" And I said, "I don't have that much money, you know." And then she told me about like um, biscuits and gravy, and I had never had that before, being a northerner, you know. And well, I mean, some people have, but that's I grew up by around a lot of Scandinavians and those types, and like basically kind of basic, just like meat and potatoes or hot dishes or whatever, you know. So I had a plate of biscuits and gravy that big around the whole thing. I think she might have even had them put more, I swear, but maybe not. But for a quarter, for like 35 cents, so I had a cup of coffee and a big plate of food. And that's one of those meals like when you're so hungry or so grateful, it's one of those meals that you never forget. And I'll never forget that waitress, the age that my mom would have been, um, just kind of looking out for me, an angel, one of those. So I really lucked out so many times in my life like that. Just missed being murdered and raped and all kinds of things. So I've had bad things happen to me, but there's a lot of times I really lucked out and I knew it was God's doing. It's when we don't listen to him is when we get in trouble. And oh, speaking of homelessness, I had watched it's called Check It Exit or something like that. I might bring attention to his channel. He's got a YouTube channel, but he was walking around Needle Park in Kensington, Pennsylvania, and it was hard to watch because I know that I have my two sons that are in different states. One's in prison right now because alcohol and drugs. And so watching these people out there, I really won't rest easy in my life until I see our government stepping in and doing more. And the person that was filming, there was I don't know if they brought the medical help or who did, but there was a man with an injury on his leg and they were dressing that for him. There should be public toilets, there should be showers and places for people to get clean clothes, or more than there is. I guess there's a couple of places where they can go and eat. But the thing is, if they're on drugs, they're gonna, and it's getting cold out. It snowed today here. This morning was our first snow. And so I know where my one son is homeless. He's already been snowed on. And it's not just for my kids. I mean, even if they weren't going through this, I was a drug rehabilitation counselor and trained medical assistant at a treatment center. And it's always been one of my concerns, you know, that people aren't being hurt in this world. And if our government could step in and do more to prevent that, I mean, we could be preventing all the fentanyl coming across the border and we could. I don't mind immigration. There's nothing wrong with legal entrance into our country, but paying for wars and seeing homeless people on the paying for other people's wars, and now the dimwit that says he's our leader is threatening the Poseidon nuclear missile off a warship. And it's like, you know, who's representing us really? And why do we have our noses in all this? People aren't even acknowledging the fact that the so-called state of Israel, get the terminology when people talk about Israel, the state of what? The state of affairs, everybody's affairs. That's who is going to be running the whole world unless people stand up. And you gotta stop doing business with giant corporations. If you can not do it, don't do it. If you can't pay the big corporate leaders and somehow get out of doing that, look and see who you can, like a store that gets some like all American made products or something. If you can, it used to be. Did you know that Walmart started out as all American made products, but then when they started going into countries like, did you know that there's Walmart in Russia? I don't know anymore, but there was. When I was working for Walmart, there was German Walmarts, and I mean, Argentina, you know, people think of it, yeah, it's all over the United States, all over the world too. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we have to stop supporting these big corporate giants. Like anything that falls under like BlackRock and those, would be like Walmart and Nestle and Coke and Kraft. And I'd say if you can buy generic without it being like Walmart, we're kind of forced into that. For us, well, we have within 10 miles two different towns, and the closest one actually is about 8, and that's where the Walmart Supercenter is. Yeah, and so we're kind of, but we try not to buy everything there. We try and patronize a little store, another up in Hinckley, Minnesota, 10 miles north of us. So we try to do a lot of our shopping. And I found a lot of the times their products are a lot better, like the produce, and for sure the meat is. There's no comparison between the steak that we get that's grown locally and what they bring it. Now the hamburger at Walmart isn't bad, and that they say is from Mexico, and I always correct people that most likely it's probably from a meat processing plant in like Kansas. And even people from Montana and Texas and Mexico, a lot of them will ship their cattle up into these giant processing plants and then have the label on like whose company they're processing the meat for. So it could actually be from just about anywhere. But I mean, I've had Texas beef and Mexican and California, and where I'm at is really good beef, but still the very best I ever had was in Montana. There's just no comparison. with any I've ever had before. That's the best. You want a good steak, get some Montana beef. That's really good stuff. If you're a meat eater. Guess it'd be a little hard to swallow if you didn't eat meat, you know? Because I do have my days where it is hard to swallow, you know? And I think that's a good thing, just the thought, you know? It's like, well, you know, we all know um, that we probably wouldn't even have to. If we could go without eating and have energy, we'd probably feel a lot better about ourselves, you know. So just plug ourselves into that God energy and yeah. Yeah. Although I really would miss avocados and chocolate and things like that. You know. Yeah. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. You know that song in heaven there is no beer? That's why we drink it here. And when we're gone from here, our friends will be drinking all the beer. Maybe that's not true. With God, anything's possible. And it says in the scriptures for those who love Him, the wonders that He has in store for us are like you can't even think of them. They're that wonderful. You know, if you get it, think of the coolest thing that ever happened to you, and then times that by so many. I believe that's true. I believe that's a feeling that is in humans. That's a natural feeling to want a little more out of what we have here, to maybe not love this life as much as some people appear to. Some people really don't have a problem with the world the way it is. They're just going along their days. It seems like they don't even notice, you know, don't notice how terrible things really are. Now I heard a new one. Frank Shot Pearson was upset yesterday, and I do not blame him. He ran across the clip of a transgender man in a church, and he teaching little children, and he calls himself Pentecostal. Yeah, I'll just leave you on that with that. Enough said, right? Well, it even says in the scriptures that in these times Satan cannot be found in the church. Or, I mean, Christ cannot be found in the church. So that's where Satan is, obviously. And if that isn't obvious, it pretty much says it all. Do you think that Jesus would want a transgender man teaching scripture to little children? No, not even close. Not at all. No, no on that too. No on all of it. Not even. You know? He said about leading a child wrong, it's better to have a millstone tied around your neck and be thrown into the sea. Kind of. What do you think that would be for? Teaching a little child wrong. And trying to make the ills of the world acceptable. That's teaching children wrong. Period. That's why they got kicked out of heaven. That's it right there. And they're doing it again. They just don't know this is well, they do know this is the last time, but they don't care. Satan's got them so convinced that he's got them covered because he has for hundreds of years. So they're dumb enough not to really be aware of the times, like the ones that are suffering, us ones that actually see this and are ill about it, you know. If looking around you doesn't make you sick. I almost started crying watching these people walk all over the planet, stumbling and knowing that their arms and legs and in between their toes and probably not a part of their body has been untouched from a needle. To me, that's heartbreaking. Sure is. And our government just fucking sits here and watches that shit come into our country. And what do? Well, they give money to countries to bomb their neighbors and don't worry about the people out on the street. That's what they do. Pretty sickening. Yeah, I have hatred in my heart for these people because they're stone cold killers. They're murderers. They don't care. They're putting money in their pocket and people are dying every day. And you could say, well, yeah, it's their choice. Well, I'm going to tell you something. If it wasn't available to them as easily as it is, it wouldn't be their choice. They'd have to work a lot harder to get it, you know. Then they catch people with so much meth or whatever. If you have like under a gram, they just don't charge you. They just let you back out. They don't get you treatment. They don't help you. They don't even in treatment. They didn't even want to give the people the right vitamins that they needed to help their bodies recover. Nobody flipping cared. We had to fight to get what we needed to make the people healthy. It shouldn't be a fight, it should just be available. But they want to destroy us. And they're doing a pretty good job. Look how many people got wiped out of the workforce just because they wouldn't comply with the fake mandates. You know, telling somebody else how they can feed themselves based on unscientific, unproven, and actually proven to the contrary that even after you take it, your immune system is more compromised than before you did. Makes no sense at all. It's like Dougie's got a lot of things wrong with him in the health department, but when he gets the flu, he just rolls with it and knows how to take care of himself. But yet they're saying that the elderly should be the ones to get the jab the first, and babies and pregnant mothers. Yeah, it's murder. It's in Canada they're starting to put out the statistics. It's, 22.5 million people died and something like 20,000 were injured because of it. But they're just pulling the statistics together right now to show the people the ramifications of what's gone on in just their country. It's just one country. Our cousin died, so this, touches home. A healthy, strong street preacher. I'm sure they wanted to take him out. I have no doubt about it. No doubt. So, cheers, everybody. Yeah, I was watching that stuff, and it was all I could do. Was, and this one, it's like this dude captured the humanity of the people. So, um, like this one beautiful girl went by him, and just the look in her eye, well, I couldn't see both, but just the look in her eye and the depth of there was a deep sorrow, and it's a look I could live without. It's these people. It's like, well, there's no good without evil, and no light without the dark. Oh, yeah, it can be light all the time. And you don't need two sides of a battery to have energy. There's a ground wire, a direct energy connection. All these sayings that they just go on because people say them and then they repeat them. It's not true. I wonder how many doctors would tell me that you need a positive and a negative energy to make things go around. I could debate that with them real big time. I'd be like, listen, you little child, sit down, I have something to tell you. I'm about ready to send a current into your little triodal affair. You know? Yeah. Actually, most doctors really don't love science at all. They just love the name that comes along with that, and the money and the position in the community, because we all know that there's hardly any real medical physicians out there anymore that care about anybody. They're corporate doctors, and that's it. They're going to do what the state tells them to do, and no more. You might have, but when is the last time that you've gone into your doctor and they asked you about your diet? They don't want to touch that subject. They see you're suffering somewhere. They don't ask me about mine. Not even. But they should anyway. Oh, they bitch about my cigarettes, yeah. But they couldn't beat me in arm wrestling, even with my broken arm. That's pretty well healed right now. But yeah, they never ask you how you're doing, and they don't care. They'll put you on a diet if you're like high blood pressure or heart disease or something like that. And even within the realm of that, they don't even know what they're talking about. Not really. They haven't experienced it for themselves, so how could they say? It's like men telling me about being a woman, or somebody that doesn't want to be a woman telling me what it's like to be a woman. They wouldn't know either, because just looking feminine or whatever there's a whole lot more than just that. I think, like me, moms are ferocious, and moms are strong, and moms are the glue of the family. And if they're not really a mom, you know? Really. 9 times out of 10, if a mom sees her baby being hurt and the dad's there too, mom's going to get you before that dad will. Or at least in my heart, that's how things go down. But, you know. Well, before I get cut off, I'm going to get this uploaded and put that link for our KX, and I'll look a little more into this name. Check in exit is spelt like Czech, like Czechoslovakian. And so I'm thinking this guy is biracial. Um, but I'm going to look more into it because I have friends in Philly, and he did some really good coverage. A lot of the people in the world are going through similar things in every large and even small city like mine. We have our um, bad part of town too. Every single town and city in the world, I do believe, are going through. Doesn't matter where it is. Bangladesh, um, in the Congo, I don't know, but Ghana for sure, Africa, no doubt, Virgin Isles, you know, so everywhere, pretty sure. And look at California, that hellhole. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me. I hope your night or day is beautiful wherever you're at, and I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon, and enjoy Jason's presentation. He's not reading it. He's got new videos that are automated, and I think they did a really good job on it myself. So I'm going to share that 14 something minute video with you. Talk to you soon. I love you.